When I went to church as a kid, I was always unbelievably bored. My grandma wouldn't let me bring my Game Boy either. It is evident now that the reason I was so bored was because I had absolutely no theological perspective on what was going on, and since I had a very loving and supporting family, I had no need for the extensive lay support system that a church community offers. My visit to First Friends Church gave me a chance to reflect on my childhood church experience with new knowledge and a more sophisticated understanding of the meaning behind the service. Located in uptown Whittier, the First Friends Church was established by Quakers and serves as a community hub for all people of the Christian faith. This was evident in the sermon, which is not delivered on Bible passages, but on a personal experience that the preacher had had during the past week. The main focus of the speech was about being good to other people, because it may mean a lot to them without you knowing. This emphasis on moral doctrine was a very obvious theme at the First Friends Church, most likely because they didn't want to estrange anyone in the congregation by espousing any particular view on a passage of the Bible. As a part of the schedule for the service, the congregation joined in singing hymns with the church choir after every other section of prayer. We read from a book of hymns which looked exactly like the ones at my grandma's church from my childhood. It was only after the second round of songs that came the most touching part of the service, the children's sermon. At this point, an older woman seated in the pews stood up and made her way to the front with a microphone, requesting that all children come and join her. For the next 10 minutes, the woman talked to the children seated around her about what it means to work hard and how much easier it is to destroy things than to build them. She used a birdhouse to illustrate her point, which was very exciting for the 3-year-old, who took quite a liking to it. It was at this moment that I experienced a brief bout of nostalgia about when I would have been young enough to be seated up there next to the lady and her birdhouse. I remembered back to when I was but a munchkin, in search of video games and food. I was very touched to be able to sit in the back and observe this part of the service and reminisce, and thankful for the fact that my family had provided for me what church was providing for many of the underprivileged families at the service. After the children's sermon came a 15-minute period in which everyone remained silent, so people could contemplate anything that they wished to. On the program, it also stated that if you felt moved by the Holy Spirit to talk, that you should feel free to do so. My friend would tell me later that usually no one talks during that time, but at this particular service there were many stories and requests for prayers to be sent to relatives and friends. One lady in particular talked for about 5 minutes about a fight that she had had with her boss, and ended up breaking down from telling the story. This just reinforced how important it was for the people in the congregation to have a community that they could reach out to in times of distress. My visit to the First Friends Church was a fantastic way to spend a Sunday morning, and I think I might even go back someday. It was a truly special thing to see the invaluable service that such an organization provides to a small town such as Whittier.